Hey everyone, we're back again in automation, going to be doing another request today. So today, the request is, why don't you make a race truck with a massive inline 6 that is very low? Why don't we just travel back to 1985 and we'll build ourselves a racing Sonoma? Or I guess it would be an S10. So I've selected that sort of body style. I'm thinking what we're going to do is have a realistic sort of body, but then the engine is just going to be nuts. So we're going to go for a massive i6. We're just gonna like put as much power as we can into it in 1985 and hope for the best. So before we go on, I just wanted to say that this Sunday I'm hoping to have a video out that is sort of a teaser for the next series that I want to do. I'll be stopping doing these request videos for a bit, but I will return to them. I'm just going to be doing that series. It's sort of an event-based series. Hopefully you'll be interested in it. That'll last for maybe 2 weeks. And then after that, it'll be back into videos like this as we'll be building up to the next event series. You may know what I'm talking about, but we'll see. Let's go for a steel body. We're going to go for a ladder frame as well, and we'll just go for a galvanized. In order to make this as low as possible, we're going to have to go double wishbone on both the front and the back, but we're not going to raise any quality sliders in the body. But when it comes to the engine, things are a little bit different. This is 1985, but we can still whack on a bunch of power. We're going to try the best that we can to make this engine big. So the inline 6 is currently too long. I'm thinking if we raise up the stroke and we just sort of back it down a bit. I want to make this all-wheel drive, but if we can't, that's okay too. Right, so we can go for a 3.7 liter and still fit in an all-wheel drive situation. We are going to go naturally aspirated. Let's just go with that. 3.7 liters isn't that big, but I think that we can probably get maybe 500 horsepower out of it with all-wheel drive, and that's going to be plenty for this thing. Oh goodness, so back in 1985 they did not have direct injection. That's not good. Maybe that 500 horsepower is a bit of a dream. I mean, we can still hope. I'm just going to give it the best chance that it has to get there. No mufflers, nothing like that. Okay, so 244 horsepower just on the basic build. Let's see what we've got. Exhaust is mildly restrictive, so we can raise that and get a bit more power, but I think I'm going to have to go back through this and just work on it a touch to get it up to where we want to be. We've got to double that horsepower, or at least hope to. So I've managed to get about 400 horsepower. We are struggling from some issues, but I'm going to ignore those for the sake of 400 horsepower. We'll just say that they basically refresh the engine after every single race with this. Like we can raise the RPM up a little bit higher, but it just destroys this. Like a 45% piston failure rating is not going to be good long term, so I figure we'll just lower it down to about 398 and then we should be set. Moving on, we need to select the body. I'm going to go for a nice single cab. Now you see now why I chose double wishbone. That is a low truck right out of the start. One thing I did notice is there is a bit of a glitch with this model that will disappear. I did sort of pre-make this. So I've decided to go with a red with black wheels. When it comes to fixtures, I think this truck is just going to be pretty plain. It doesn't need to be too fancy or anything. Not exactly sure what we can use, but I know one thing that is for sure. We need a hitch. It seems like every new vehicle I make is going to have one of these, but I really like where this is going so far. Just to have a nice 2 headlights set up, big old grill in the middle. It actually looks the part. I also put a bump on the hood and some scoops as well because it's a race truck, but yeah, this is actually coming along well. So the truck has some lines that are specifically cut out for molding, and I thought, well, let's actually use them. There are proper molding pieces that you're supposed to be able to use for vehicles, but I tend to not use them. I guess more fixtures means more weight, but it's also more fun. Right, so I think I've finished with the outside look. I think it looks pretty good. I put a single exhaust on it. I also am clipping through the floor, but I went ahead and just skipped and put in the drivetrain so you can see the exhaust setup as well as the engine to make sure it's not sticking out or anything. And it is just coming together pretty much perfect. I really like the way it looks. I especially like the look of the front, and I think that's going to be it. It doesn't need to be super fancy. All we really needed was the extra wide rims. Everything else is just just an extra piece. So let's move on to drivetrain. Now, as with most of my vehicles, they tend to have ridiculous wheel spin. I want to try to not have that. That's why I've gone all-wheel drive. Let's just go for like extra wide wheels. Oh wow, those are extremely wide. Let's go 280s all the way around, and then we can add some spacing to get that poke. I like this sort of tucked in look as well. Now when it comes to under tray, this kind of thing is important. Currently it's at downforce 100, so let's go fully clad. Unfortunately we cannot control the downforce with any of these because we don't have any aero pieces. But we're going to have to just live with that for now. Fully clad just means that it'll have a sheet, or not a sheet, but like a skin basically all the way across the bottom so air just flows underneath it. Goodness, back in the 80s they did not have much for traction aids. And safety, we'll go advanced 80s safety. I know it adds weight. It's more realistic, I guess, in the sense that this is even slightly realistic, which it's not. Okay, so when it comes to suspension, we need some sporty stuff. Air suspension, I guess. Goodness, they, again, did not have much back in these days. So our ride height is good, but look at the range. We can have, we could just go for a monster truck if we wanted to with air suspension. But we do not get many options. We could go gas monotube. So I took a look at the graphs, and I think that our best bet is going to be just sticking with the gas monotube suspension. And for the sake of it, we'll raise up the quality of that stuff as well. So there you have it. It's a 400 horsepower, 1300 kilo. Not that many warnings, surprisingly. This isn't a drift truck. It sort of does look like Gingium's drift truck a little bit, but that's not what it's for. This is a race truck. Let's take it to Beam and see what we can do with it. So this is what this creation looks like in Beam. It actually turned out quite well. I seem to say that often, but it exported well. It didn't have any issues that I can see. I think that overall it looks really good. And when I mentioned Gingium's truck in the last sort of couple minutes of the automation portion of this video, I did not see the similarities until now. It's a 400 horsepower. I guess he's approximately 300 with his Lexus engine, but this thing is a 400 horsepower straight six, similar style to the Mazda B 2200. So you could sort of make your own Mazda pickup truck if you wanted to in this game, but to me it looks more like a Sonoma or an S10. Yeah, you could totally tweak it to be a Mazda. This truck is really good. It is very controllable. It doesn't have any massive wheel spin issues. It's only got 400 horsepower, but 400 horsepower is still a lot, especially when it doesn't weigh very much. It's just generally a fast little truck. I've just been ripping it around the ETK center that we're currently in, and my goodness, I'm enjoying myself. One thing that I've been noticing is that Beam has not been looking too good on YouTube. I don't know exactly why. I suspect that it's YouTube compression, because when I record these episodes, I record it at 1080p 60, and then if I watch my recordings again, it looks fine, but as soon as I watch it on YouTube, it looks like trash. Like, the automation portion of the video looks fine, but the Beam portion just looks like garbage, and I don't exactly know why. YouTube, please fix. I don't like that it just makes everything fuzzy and just kind of gross, but I'll work on that in the future. Maybe if I change codecs, it'll fix it. I don't know. So yeah, back to the truck. It is fast. It is good. I think that this was a good idea. It's just generally a decent little truck, except it has problems with brake fade. I should have made the vented discs a little bit bigger. The brakes work fine, but they fade really quickly, so it just means that they're not quite as big as they should be, or the brake airflow is a little too low. One of the two, probably both. But overall, it's a decent little vehicle. Now, I have some ideas for things that we can do. Obviously, we're going to take it around the track. It'll be the final one to go around the track for a while. I think that we should take it somewhere else, and we'll try and pull a trailer. Right, so this is a small truck. It is not a heavy tower by any means, so I figured let's just take a small trailer, 3 boxes that are strapped down, and let's go for a journey across the canyons here. I don't know how well this is going to go. So far, it is a little bit shaky. I must admit the hitch is a little close to the chrome, probably too close for comfort, but you can't seem to extend the hitch out too far, and it also won't attach anywhere except the body. That's unfortunately just something we're gonna have to live with. Now, the reason that I've been doing so much stuff with towing is just because I really like towing things. I find that to be a lot of fun. I actually, as part of my previous job, used to drive around a trailer with my company truck, and I found that to be fun until one of the wheels just exploded on the trailer one day, and then it was not fun. Oh, this truck is, again, not great with the trailers. I'm not sure exactly why, but the automation vehicles just are not good at pulling trailers. You might see some of that with the event that I have planned. I have a couple of events planned for that event-based series that I'll be doing. One of them is trailer pulling, but it's got a twist, and I think you're gonna like it. Driving along here, we're able to make a lot of noise. We're not going too fast, but the trailer is skidding a lot. The trailer is fishtailing, but we're doing fine. I don't quite know why. Oh, we've hit a straight section. I'm hammering the gas. Well, I mean, we're picking up speed. We're not a slow truck, not by any means here. Oh, but the trailer is trying to throw us off. I'm just trying to keep as controlled as... Okay, I did not see this turning coming here. Well, I guess failure was inevitable. I didn't expect it to be that spectacular, though. So, after our failures, I've decided to just go alone instead. We're just gonna leave that trailer behind and sort of cruise some trails up here for a bit. I'm interested to see what YouTube compression does to this map as well. This one does have foliage, but it doesn't have as many trees, being a desert. So, it would be interesting to see if it's just the foliage that's affecting it, and maybe I can turn that down, or if it's just kind of the game in general has that issue. Well, this truck is very capable. It's not great off-road because double wishbone, but it does have quite a bit of power. It's got four-wheel drive. Well, not really four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. I'm thinking, just because of how loud this is, we should try and take it for a tunnel run. I believe that there's a tunnel just up here. I think you can see what I mean when I say that this is one of the more controlled vehicles that I've made. Okay, here comes the tunnel. And let's hammer it. Doesn't sound bad. Sounds pretty decent, actually. Now this is like an endless tunnel to nowhere at this point. I do not know what this leads to. Oh, found the end. And it leads to more deserts. I think the highway is just a loop in this. This truck is pretty darn fast, and I think it's time that we tested it out on the track to see how it compares to some of the other fast cars we've raced. Alright, so for those of you unfamiliar, here's a quick overview of what's going on with this. We've got a hill climb car up at the top, second place is a 2900 horsepower V12, and third place is a 112 horsepower max downforce car. I don't know where this one is going to end up. It's probably not going to be down here with the likes of the Panther or the trophy truck, which suffer from just massive wheel spin. Probably somewhere up here, I think. Maybe in the track car area, maybe against some of the more obscure V12s that I've made, up against the van possibly. We'll just have to see what it'll do. Alright, so setting off in the truck, this mini race truck needs some sort of test lap here, because I have no idea what it's going to be doing around the track. Well, it's actually quite controlled so far. I'm really able to like put the gas down when driving it around here. It does not take too much to control it. I fear for the brakes, especially around some of these corners here. They're going to be getting hot. That's just an inevitability, so hopefully they can last for 2 laps around the track. This truck is so controlled that it might actually be one of the few vehicles I don't have to try for a second lap around here. Ooh, unless I mess up badly and hit that tree. It's so easy to drive that I don't think I'm gonna have to try it around here a few times. It's just gonna need it one go. Unless I mess up drastically, as I do sometimes. Alright, so first lap was a 1:15. That is a really good time. If it can keep that up, it's definitely going to be where I thought it would be in the pack. As long as we can remain consistent with the times, then we should be set. Which, consistency is a challenge, but just have to keep control of it, just have to keep organized here and focused. I sound like I'm one of those hockey players getting interviewed post-period or something. Not much wheel spin from this. I really like not having so much wheel spin. I'm just terrified of it at this point. Whoa, okay, it just flipped over. Okay, we're coming around the second last corner here. Up around the last corner, no cutting allowed there, although for some cars I do occasionally cut. It seems like this lap that I've just done is going to be around the same as the previous one, which is actually... Oh, it's actually slightly faster, which is great. We're on the right track. It seems like I'm improving driving this vehicle. Having that failure actually helped it, because we just lost quite a bit of time on that first lap, and as long as we can be consistent with the second, this is going to have a better place than it would have before. One thing that I've noticed about this truck is it has an issue where the left brake heats up faster than the right brake on the front, and that means that it just tends to pull really hard to the left once the brakes get hot, and I have no idea why that is. Got it a little bit loose in that corner. The brakes are all up in the 500-degree area, which is not good. We're just gonna have to be a little more cautious coming around these corners. Final corner, and I have no problem just hitting the gas in this truck. It doesn't have wheel spin issues. Its acceleration isn't mad enough that we're gonna be flying off into the ditch. And it's a 14.2. Not bad. Goodness, so that puts it up into 6th. 6th is with the likes of the Overdone attempt, which is a V12 specifically built race car, as well as the 2600 horsepower monster. It's just beating out the LMP track car, which has 300 horsepower. So this thing is really quite good. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Look forward to next Sunday, I think, which is 2 days from now, when I can hopefully have that trailer done. It won't be very long, so I'm hoping that the editing won't take too long. But if you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for more content like this, because I'm going to keep putting stuff like this out. Definitely check out that series when it comes out. And I was thinking about this last night. There are 400 videos on this channel, so if you wanted to see more content, just look at my videos page, scroll down and see if anything appeals to you. A lot of it is unedited and it's different content than this, but you still might find enjoyment in it. So, see you again soon.